What is going on, everybody? It is Aaron here with the Rookie Geek, coming at you again with another lightsaber review. This one is going to be very different than any one I've done in the past. It's a brand new company. I've never reviewed them before, and you know, it's been quite the journey for me to get this. There's been some, you know, pandemic, and you know, their company grew, and then there were some personal issues. I mean, it was a lot of guff to get here, but worth every single second, in my opinion. So this is from a company called Bendu Armory. Bendu Armory is based out of Idaho. It is an American company. You know, they are, as far as I know, one of the only companies that does a carbon fiber hilt as opposed to an aluminum hilt. So in this case, I went pretty, you know, bare bones. I went for their earlier models. The soundboard inside this is actually the top of the line soundboard that they have, but they have other designs since this, and I believe this was, you know, one of their flagship models. So I wanted to go out the gate. I really liked the look of it, so I wanted to try it out. To the journey that took me to get here. So I had looked at Bendu for a while, and it just never really felt like the right time to pull the trigger, even though I was extremely interested. And then about 9 months ago, I saw them release a video of them showing how durable their Neopixel blades were. I'm going to assume two of the owners of the company were just taking one of their sabers with the Neopixel blade, and they were just cracking it against a tree over and over and over again as hard as they could. No LEDs were out of whack, nothing, no cracks, no scratches. So I was pretty impressed by that. You know, I just have had so many that I've been looking at to get that are Canon, or just ones that have kind of fell in my lap and I couldn't say no. So it just, for whatever reason, kept getting put off. But I ordered this back in March, and now it is mid-July. So not the fastest shipping by any means, but I've seen people go through worse. And you know, I'll save all the rambling about, you know, the different reasons why, but one of the main reasons was because Bendu was actually growing. Now they will tell you and be very upfront about lead times. In this case, when I ordered this one, it was about 16 weeks. So I didn't expect the world. But I also, in the back of my mind, think, okay, well, they tell you 16 weeks, but hopefully it'll be more like 12 or 14 or something like that. You know, it won't be quite 16. That was, in fact, not the case with this. It went the full length and then some. You know, but again, when you're dealing with small companies, I mean, there are things that are going to happen. A lot of times when I find this, I don't even know if, you know, how many people are on staff at Bendu to do this. I do know that there were some personal issues with one of their saber crafters, and that delayed the saber a little more. No big deal though. You know, I'm a very patient nerd. I like to, I'm used to waiting for my lightsabers. That, you know, sometimes it's a couple of weeks and sometimes it's a few months. I mean, that's just the name of the game. But again, worth every penny on this one, guys. Worth every minute of waiting. So this here is the flagship custom, and it is with the Proffie Neopixel. And some of the things right out the gate to know is that with Bendu, they have a system where right here you see this is your retention screw and this is your cover tech wheel. You take the cover tech wheel, they give you both Allen wrenches to get these off. Now I will say out the gate, the retention screw for the Bendu sabers are different than with LGTs or Ultimate Works or something like that. But when you take these two off, you will just push right here, and it will shoot the actual soundboard out. And then so this outer part is just a shell. So it makes it really cool if you decide, okay, well, I don't really want to shell out the money for a new one, but I do like some of these other designs, because you can just get the shell infinitely cheaper, and then just slide it onto the soundboard. Now, I have experienced things like that with my Ultimate Works sabers. They have the removable chassis, and you can just slide that right into another one, no problem, no fuss, no muss. You don't have to really take anything apart. So this is kind of almost taking that one step further, where it's just pretty much putting everything in one fine shoot here, and then you can just kind of go around it, because there were a few other hilt designs that I was pondering over. I wasn't 100. There was a Shoto that I really wanted. They have various names for the styles of their sabers, and then they have colors within those designs. Pretty basic setup when it comes to, you know, the button setup here. You've got this button at the top, and that will just kind of initiate. It goes into a sleep mode very quickly. Which is fine, but at the same time, one of the pros, as well as maybe a little bit of a con, is the level of volume on this thing. It really just is no joke. You know, real quick, I mean, it is a loud speaker. I mean, the LGTs and the Ultimate Works, they've got loud speakers and everything. I have no issues with them, but this one might be the first hilt that I'm going to maybe turn down the volume a little bit, just because it really is something else. So basic design, but it is all carbon fiber, so that makes it virtually indestructible, so that kind of goes with their brand. I like how smooth everything is here. You know, you've got your curvatures, you've got your little you know, accents here and there, but at the same time, it's just how easy it is to hold it. I feel like with a lot of my Canon hilts, my LGT hilts, they're beautiful, but they are not very practical when it comes to either spinning or dueling, which is fine because I don't do a whole heck of a lot of that. But you know, it's just something to keep in mind when you're looking at hilts. Is, you know, do I really want this as a display piece? Do I want to swing it around a little bit? Do I actually want to do some serious spinning, or do I want to duel with it? In a lot of the more Canon sabers, that's just not practical at all to think of. But with this one, as soon as I pulled it out of the box and I held it, I said, this is going to be my dueling / spinning saber. It just is so smooth. With all of my others, you're really risking cutting your hand open, which I've done on several occasions. You know, it can just rip the skin right off your hand. So I do recommend dueling and spinning. You know, maybe use some gloves. I've seen various tips on what to use, lacrosse gloves or what have you. But with this one, I mean, aside from the glove protection from getting your hand hit while dueling, I mean, this is virtually no glove is needed. There's enough room for 2 hands here, but it isn't uncomfortable to do it with one. You know, I'm into it. I'm here for the whole thing, guys. So this is their, the other thing that really grabbed my eye with them. This is their Neopixel blade. Doesn't really look any different than your normal Neopixel blade that you're going to see. But with this one thing I can tell in comparison to others is the weight. There is a fair amount of weight on this blade. So you can tell when you're squeezing on it and trying to bend it, this has a lot more girth to it than your average Neopixel blade. And this is their mid-grade too. I didn't even get the heaviest grade they have. I have yet to do what they did and taking it outside and trying to crack it against a tree a bunch, because I can never bring myself to do that with my sabers. But you know, maybe one day if I just feel like getting reckless. But all in all, I mean, you know, they do the sound fonts just like everybody on here. It was a little more of a learning curve for me to navigate through the sound fonts, just because I'm used to an LGT or an Ultimate Works. You know, but you're going to have the same basic things here. I will show at the end of this video, just a little bit of me spinning the saber around to give you an idea of sound fonts and such. You can change the blade color for any of the sound fonts on here. So nothing new there. You know, all the things that you would want. And more often than not, I would assume that if somebody is toying around buying a Bendu, that they have ordered from another company. Bendu is just not a company that I, you know, saw a lot out the gate. But if you're just happen to be looking at Bendu for a first-time saber, I really can't say you could go wrong. I mean, you know, with certain places like Vader's Vault or Solo's Hold, things like that, that I wouldn't say is great for a first-time saber user, because then you're going to spend a little more money on something you're not quite sure what you want yet. I think this is my 15th saber, and I am, you know, just now to the point where I feel like I got the ones that I want, but I still have a bunch on my list. But as far as, you know, going through like, oh, I think this one's cool, I think this one would be good on the shelf, this one would be good for dueling, this one would be good for this, This has kind of given me my dueling saber that I'm fine with, and I'm just going to move with this on here on out. But what I would say to somebody who is purchasing their first saber, I mean, maybe go a little cheaper. I mean, this one here was almost 600, so just keep that in mind. You know, you can get Neopixels for significantly cheaper, you know, almost half the price of that. But they're going to be your more standard LGT sabers. But this is for something serious. I mean, I really have no qualms about just chucking this thing, and having all the confidence in the world that it will still look the same. You know, with a lot of my other sabers, I've dropped them plenty. My Ultimate Work sabers, my LGT sabers, I've dropped them a ton, and yeah, they'll get scuffed and stuff. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I like a little wear and tear on my sabers. But with this one, it is legitimately as close to indestructible as you can get. I've been very excited about being able to hold it. I wasn't really sure, you know, you deal with aluminum hilts for the longest time, and you just don't really, you don't really think about, you know, what another kind of hilt would feel like. You just don't. And carbon fiber is much thicker and also much lighter than I thought it would be. You know, just because the aluminum hilts, I mean, yeah, it's metal, but it's aluminum. So, I mean, they're really not that heavy in a lot of cases. But this one, with it's just the shell, it is super light. I mean, just you know, paper light. But when you get the soundboard and everything and you slide that onto it, which the soundboard and the buttons here, and the blade insert, that is all attached to the sound chassis. Everything on the outside is just clipped in, and then it's held down by the cover tech wheel and the retention screw. So guys, this has been Bendu Armory. This is my first experience with them. I have a lot of praises for this for my first time out. I can't wait to order some more designs. I'm probably just going to go with maybe ordering a shell or two out the gate if I feel like I want another soundboard later on, because I mean, there is something to be said for their soundboards. They're very loud. They are, you know, obviously durable, because that seems to be the name of the game with everything that they do. I'm really interested to just, you know, crack this alongside one of my LGT or Ultimate Works and see how it works out. But, you know, it's not, would I say it's my favorite saber that I own? No, but I mean, you know, my favorite saber and the one that I like to use the most are usually different. This is the one that I'm going to probably use the most. But, you know, it's a very basic design. It's nothing, you know, it's not like it's really intricate and just has all kinds of crazy stuff going on with it. It's very smooth and very easy and very elegant. I don't really have any issues with it. Now, I did see a little bit, because the blade is thicker, that there were some spots, but it's really not something you can see. You see a little bit there, but it's just, I think it's just because their blades are so thick. But it doesn't affect the brightness of the blade. Everything is still good. You can see that here. Just goes very well. It's a very smooth transition. There's not a whole lot of diversity with it, just different sounds, and that's about it. But I mean, as far as the blade effects, I didn't see too much in the ways of variation. But again, it's a Proffie board. You can change those things yourself if you are so inclined to do so. Alright guys, well, I am Aaron with the Rookie Geek. I'm going to go ahead and just turn off the lights and get this going for a spin video so you can see what this thing looks like when it's working in action. I will be getting back to doing more review videos now that more Marvel and Star Wars and DC projects are coming out. I am really anxious to get all my thoughts on video about the Loki season finale, and I just saw Black Widow about 5 or 6 days ago. I'm very excited about that. I want to talk about that. So moving forward, we're gonna still do lightsabers, obviously, because they are my love. But in the end, I'm also going to diversify a little bit and get back to doing more superhero reviews, as I like to do. All right, guys, I am Aaron with the Rookie Geek. We are going to go ahead and do a spin video, and I will see you next time.
Sound bank selection. Sound bank selection.
Did you see TK2131 yesterday? Sometimes I think that guy's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Sound bank selection.
When my patience ends, bad things tend to happen. Now you'll see what a Sith is capable of.
Focus path temperature critical. Sound bank selection.
This is General Kenobi. Goodness, you're not one to trifle with, are you?
Focus path temperature critical.
I have a bad feeling about this. Very confident, aren't you? This is the last time Cody takes a day off.
Sound bank selection.
This is...
Audio player. SD card USB access. System menu. Exit menu.
Nightfall.
Focus path temperature critical.